Welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Let's use some flexible super wide duct tape to make some bushcraft snowshoes. So you can bushcraft up a pair of snowshoes in the field using very little tools and a little bit of cordage, but I've teamed up with the Flex Seal family of products for this video to show you how quick and easy it is to use flex super wide duct tape. So for this project, I'm going to be using a saw, a knife, and the Flex super wide duct tape. So you can use either the short roll that's 4.6 inches wide or the big 7.5 inch roll. So using a handsaw out of your survival kit, you're going to be looking for 10 to 12 sticks about 3/4 inches in diameter to about a 1/2 inch in diameter. And that's going to vary depending on your size and weight. Usually 5 sticks per shoe is going to be good for a typical size guy. If you're a little bit larger or if you plan on carrying a pack, you're better off going with 6 sticks. So I'm going to harvest the straightest sticks I can get from this area. I'm going to cut them about a foot taller than I am. I also need a stick that's about 1.5 inches wide that I'm going to flatten down to about the width of my thumb. And that's going to be for my heel and my toe board. And I've got a stick here behind me that this is going to work. I'm going to cut it real low, and I should have enough material for both shoes out of that one stick. As I was gathering a few more straight sticks, the weather really got bad on me here. I'm going to head back and we're going to finish this project under the lean-to. So if you were in a hurry and this was an emergency pair of snowshoes, you could leave the bark on these saplings and that's going to be fine. For best results and for the longest lasting shoe, you're going to want to take the time to strip off all the bark. So some of these are a little bit short and none of them are as straight as I want, but sometimes you just got to work with what you have. So right now I'm going to sort these out into 2 bundles of 6, and I'm going to lay these all out till I get a functional tip size, and I'm going to line those tips up. Then I'm going to go down to the other end of the stick bundle, and I'm going to establish that as my length. So here's my shortest stick, and this is going to determine the length of the entire snowshoe. Now you could do this all with cordage, and knots would work just fine with this, but this is going to be kind of hard to hold together, and that is exactly why I've teamed up with the Flex Seal family of products for this video. So I'm going to go with the longer 7.5 inch roll for this, and I really only want probably about 3 fingers wide for this section. So I'm going to leave this right on the roll. And this is what's so great about this is I can tear this product. So I'm going to measure out my 3 fingers. I'm going to start my tear. Now that I've got the width that I want established, I'm going to leave this right on the roll. And I'm going to peel off a piece about 16 inches long. Now that we've established the front of the bundle, I'm going to go forward just about 2 fingers. I'm going to trim off the excess. On the tail end, I've got my shortest stick, and the rest of this is just excess. So I'm just going to cut this off and make it easier to work with. So we're doing pretty good here. We've got our bundle established, and we've got both ends are trimmed. We've got this taped together. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to establish our balance point. So the snowshoe is going to have to be a little tail heavy, so when we pick up our shoe and take a step, it's going to want to tilt back a little bit. So we're going to have to just kind of roughly get the balance point. So this is pretty good, right about there. So I've got a marker here, and I'm just going to go ahead and mark these sticks. And once I lay this out, we're going to put our heel board in next. Now the heel board is going to go about 2 inches in front of our balance point. So here's our heel board, and this is about the width of my hand plus 4 inches long, and the width on this is about the width of my thumb. Now I'm going to put this on 2 inches in front of the balance point. Now to secure it, I'm going to take the Flex super wide duct tape and I'm going to rip it in strips of about 1/4 inch, and I'm going to put that on in an X pattern. Now for the tail section, I've got a strip of duct tape, maybe 2 feet. So I'm going to lay these tails out as flat as I can, and I'm going to come up about the width of my hand. And I'm going to take a single wrap around the first stick. And the next stick in line, I'm going to give myself about 2 or 3 fingers space. There we go. Now I'm going to take the rest of this tail and just wrap it over the adhesive part of the tape that's exposed. So to put your toe board in, this is going to sit under the ball of your foot. So you're going to put your heel directly on our heel board, and then wherever the ball of your foot is, that's where you're going to attach the next board. Now I'm going to attach this the exact same way. I'm going to take strips of super wide duct tape and I'm going to tear it into about 1/4 inch pieces, and then we'll establish where this is going to lay. So this is going to be the easiest way to show you here. So with this boot, I'm going to put my heel directly on the heel board. And then obviously, if you've got your toe board back too far, it's not going to be comfortable. If you've got it too far forward, that's not going to work out for you either. You're going to want to set this right under the ball of your foot. So these are not the straightest snowshoes in the world, but for the material I got to work with, this isn't too bad at all. This is completely functional, just like they are right now. They're going to work a lot better if this toe section has a little bit of a turn to it. It's going to keep it from digging down into the snow. And traditionally I use cordage for this, but with the Flex super wide duct tape, I believe I'm going to take a couple strips about 1/4 inch wide, and I'm going to make an attachment point back here off the front toe plate. I'm going to give it a pull, we'll tape it down, and that's going to hold it until it dries and holds that natural curve. So that got us a lift of almost 2 inches on the toe. And once the sticks dry, they're going to want to hold that shape. So this 2 pieces of tape going out to the toe is really only temporary, but it's completely functional with them in place. Next, I'm going to show you how to attach these to your feet. So there might be some thought of just taking your foot, taping it down, and calling it good. Well, you may need to get out of these shoes really, really quickly. And this is going to be a little bit long, but it's better to have it. And then we're going to fold this in half. So essentially, we're going to turn this into webbing. So we're just going to put adhesive side to adhesive side. So I'm going to put this over the top of the toe of the boot. I'm going to go under my toe board and then back on top and tie this off with a square knot. So here's our loop. We're going to go ahead and tuck our toe into that. Now the top side, I'm just going to come over. I'm going to tie this on using a square knot. Now I'm going to make another piece of webbing. This is about 2 inches wide, and I'm going to tear off a piece about 10 feet long. Now I'm going to roll this over just like the other one so that the adhesive is stuck to itself. So now with the Flex Super Wide duct tape put in a strip like this, we're going to be able to tie on these snowshoes just like the Native American people did. So I've got this duct tape run under my tow bar right here. And I'm going to take this and go through my front loop and then back over to the back side. And this is maybe a 16-inch long piece. So now this front piece is going to lock this in. I'm going to go around the back. On the opposite side of the tow bar, I went over the front, up the back, and then this is going to wrap around. And it's going to tie off on the front. This gives your foot plenty of movement forward and back, but if you do need to get out of those snowshoes quickly, you're able to twist your foot to the side and lift up out of that toe box. Either side kicks free, and then your foot kicks out. So the temperature here is in the low 30s, and we've had snow already. We've had snow accumulate, but nothing real heavy yet. And we don't always get enough snow that this would even be required. That's probably why it's even more an important skill to be able to make this on the fly. I can have the knowledge to make a pair of these snowshoes if there was an incident when I was snowmobiling or out ice fishing and didn't necessarily plan on walking through the deep snow. Now this particular style of snowshoe I first learned about from Morris Kahansky, and he learned it from Tom Roycraft. So this was a Canadian military Air Force style snowshoe here. So this is something that you could just make using paracord, using a few basic survival tools, and have a pretty quick and easy functional snowshoe that's actually going to last a pretty long time. Now the cool thing about this is because it's taller than I am, when you are trekking through with limited gear and it's time for bed, you don't have to sleep on the snow with this. You can lay down a couple short sticks, logs if you can find them, and then you can put these two things side by side and actually make a bed and suspend yourself up off the ground. Making these snowshoes has been a really fun project, and I'm really glad I got to team up with the Flex Seal family of products for this.